8 Steps to a Fee-for-Service Dental Practice, a top-down, all-inclusive, step-by-step implementation plan from your friends at New Patients Incorporated, the marketing firm exclusively for dentists. So you want to move toward a fee-for-service dental practice. Many dentists get all emotional when you talk about insurance participation. They say things like, "They are forcing me to lower my standard of care. They are dictating treatment decisions. They make patients think everything is covered." Well, our response would be, no, they aren't. No, they aren't. No, they don't. They're not forcing you at gunpoint, are they? Your participation is a choice, just like choosing to run a Google ad campaign or spend money on a direct mail campaign. Insurance participation is one of the many marketing options available to you. With zero emotion, here is a pragmatic business definition of insurance participation. The dentist agrees to collect less than their normal fee. In return, the dentist is listed in a printed directory and listed on an insurance website. The sole purpose of these listings is to potentially attract new patients to the practice. Of course, a dentist also has the ability to spend money to promote their practice to fee-for-service patients. And of course, the two do not have to be mutually exclusive. See insurance participation for what it is, a form of marketing. Our best first advice to every dentist out there is to truly see insurance participation for what it is. Dental insurance participation is a very expensive referral service. There are many of you that might be wondering what we mean when we say expensive. That would be natural. It's not like you pay money to participate. Well, on average, the cost of participating is going to be 19 to 22% or more of your normal fees. That's a lot of money. In contrast, promoting your practice through other marketing methods should cost about 5% of your fees. So yeah, we think insurance participation is expensive. Sometimes insurance participation makes sense. To be very clear, we are not for or against insurance participation as a marketing medium. In some situations, in fact, a dentist might be crazy not to participate, at least initially as they are trying to build a new practice. But we need to evaluate insurance participation for what it is, a potential marketing medium available to nearly every dentist nationwide. There are certainly situations where insurance participation would be beneficial to the business. For instance, let's say a dentist was just starting out with a brand new startup practice. They have 0 patient records. Maybe they have no marketing budget. In this situation, insurance participation is likely the only viable marketing medium because there are no upfront expenses required. But why do so many dental offices continue to rely on insurance participation as their only, or primary, marketing medium long after those lean startup years are over? Good question. We can only assume it's because they don't know there is an alternative, or they are scared by the alternative. After all, it's a scary prospect to be faced with the possibility of losing all of the existing patients who are covered by insurance. We hear this, "But I know a dentist who transitioned out of insurance and went broke." Yeah, we know too, and we know why. The number one reason insurance transitions fail is because the owner of the practice is not realistic about the time it will take to dig their practice out of the effects of participating. We have heard the following story so many times from so many dentists. It goes like this. I went to a seminar or hired a consultant and bought into the idea of having a fee-for-service practice. So I immediately went back to the practice and got out of every insurance contract. Now I am broke. We are tired of hearing this story. Listen, we have no problem with aspiring to own a fee-for-service practice, none at all. In fact, we firmly believe that every dentist who wants one can have a fee-for-service practice. We do have a problem with somebody telling you to go cold turkey. Doing so is pure, avoidable insanity. You don't have to go cold turkey when you transition from insurance participation to self-promotion. So why would you? Why would you take the risk? Why would you create the concern and uncertainty if you don't have to? If you don't get anything else out of this guide, listen to this one piece of advice. Please do not attempt to get out of all your insurance plans at once. The right way to transition out of insurance participation. Okay, so you're ready to invest 5% of your earnings into other marketing options instead of writing off 19 to 22 or more percent for the referral service that insurance participation offers your practice. How do you do it? Well, let's take a look at a painful reality first. Here is a typical insurance transition. Our example dental practice is producing around $1 million, writing off $200,000 and collecting $800,000. As you can see, the business is already spending $200,000 through insurance write-offs per year to attract patients. That's painful enough, but now the owner needs to find $40,000 to $50,000 to start effectively promoting the practice to patients who care more about their mouth than a deductible. Ultimately, it will be worthwhile financially, but still a really tough thing to do. There are 4 key pieces of information dentists need to know before considering an insurance transition. They are total revenues for the previous 12 months, total number of active patients, total number of active patients on each plan, production by insurance plan. Figuring out the revenues from the past 12 months is easy. Just put the right date range in a production report and you're home free. You should also know the total number of active patients in your practice. Next, line up each plan you participate with and determine the number of active patients within each plan. This will give you a pecking order based on volume. Then line up the production from each insurance plan. You do this just to make sure that your pecking orders line up with each other in terms of the number of patients and each plan's revenues. The plan with the most active patients should also be the plan with the highest production. We will run a few numbers to show you how it works. Let's say that our hypothetical practice has $800,000 in revenues and 1,000 total active patients. This breaks down to 150 active patients from Delta, 125 active patients from MetLife, 80 active patients from Aetna, 50 active patients from Prudential. A total of 405 active patients are insured through participating plans, while 595 active patients have not been referred through plans. Now let's line up the revenues. 128,000 collected from Delta, 101,000 collected from MetLife, 74,000 collected from Aetna, 39,000 collected from Prudential. See how the revenues pretty much line up with the patient numbers? This is typical. Now, taking these numbers into consideration, what are the prospects of making a complete insurance transition with this dental practice? As always, let's look at the numbers. Numbers never lie. In the example practice above, we have 405 active patients to replace with indemnity or fee-for-service patients. If you tried to do that all in 1 year, you would likely be disappointed. You'd need to be attracting about 35 additional high-quality new patients each month. Even in a very positive market area, attempting this kind of volume would be setting yourself up for failure. To figure out what's realistic, use this rule of thumb. Take the number of active patients currently enrolled with insurance plans in your practice and divide that number by 12. Much like we just did to find out how many additional new patients we need to replace the participating patients. In this case, the result was 35. All you have to do now is add the word months to the end. In our example practice, it will likely take 35 months to completely, comfortably, and with limited stress, wean the office from insurance participation. This means our short-term promotion goal is to attract about 10 to 14 additional high-quality new patients each month to start the replacement process. This is an attainable goal. It is a reasonable goal. This is a goal that can be exceeded, making the owner and team more and more confident as the months pass. So, we've established that it's going to take 35 months to complete the transition. We need to keep the active patient number at 1,000 active patients. We need to add about 10 to 14 new fee-for-service patients each month to begin offsetting the participating patient base. We need to establish an annual marketing budget of $40,000 to $50,000. We now have the new patient acquisition part of our transition plan well in hand. So when do we actually start dropping out of the insurance plans? This is key. You start dropping plans after you have acquired the new fee-for-service patients. Look back at the insurance numbers again. You will notice that there are 50 active patients with Prudential. If after 5 months you have achieved your goal of 50 new fee-for-service patients, you will be in a position to drop Prudential. We have had client offices mark up the calendar in their business office with a designated day that they finally call the insurance company to tell them that they no longer want to participate. It can be an incredibly motivating team objective to which everyone can contribute. Wouldn't it be great if you and your team were able to celebrate with each plan you eliminated? We bet the person in your office who deals with insurance inquiries will be stoked. Now, you go through this process all over again for the remaining insurance plans. In our example, Aetna is the next target. Now you need 80 more fee-for-service patients. Every promotional activity, every new inquiry, every new patient booked becomes part of the effort, and every member of your team can be involved in the goal of attracting enough high-quality patients to be able to say goodbye to Aetna. We have seen insurance transitions bring entire dental teams together to attain a common goal. It can actually be fun. Fast forward. You've transitioned out of insurance participation. Now what? If your hard work and careful planning have allowed you to transition completely from insurance participation to 100% fee-for-service patient roster, then the first thing you and your team should do is pop a few champagne corks. Then you can get down to the very rewarding business of using your marketing budget to grow a bigger practice and healthier revenues. Let's look at the numbers. Our hypothetical, but based in reality, practice now has $1 million in revenues, 0 in write-offs, 1,000 active patients, a 5% marketing budget. If you flash back to the pre-transition figures for this practice, you can immediately see the benefits. Had they not made this transition, they would have had no marketing budget and would have written off $600,000. Instead, our example practice ended up writing off $300,000 and had a marketing budget total of $150,000, $50,000 per year for 3 years. Now, 1 year since completing the transition, practice has 0 in insurance write-offs and a total marketing budget of $50,000. Isn't that a worthwhile transition? Oh, you bet. Especially if you own the practice. Now imagine the personal financial impact for the owner of our example practice. Let's say the owner practices another 15 years after completing the transition. If they earn an additional $150,000 each year for 15 years, that translates into $1.75 million. If you project the average investment return to retirement, you're easily looking at between $2.2 and $2.3 million in true impact. Remember, the additional $150,000 per year is the difference between the $200,000 per year they were writing off and the $50,000 per year they are now using to promote the practice. Do you see the financial impact? These are your decisions. You are the CEO of your dental practice. If you do choose insurance participation to kickstart your practice, that's fine. Just have a transition plan in place that keeps you from relying solely on insurance participation to promote your practice. If you are going to play the insurance participation game, play to win. That ends this guide. But before we go, If you want to discuss dental marketing topics with professionals and dentists alike, we invite you to join us at our Dental Marketing Mastery Facebook group. If there is ever anything we can help you with, you can find us on our website, newpatientsinc.com, or by phone at 866-336-8237. We sincerely hope this guide helps you connect with more patients who can benefit from the services you provide.